Shining. It's a beautiful morning. But let's have a quick look at the calendar, economic calendar. Today is Wednesday, 18 March, and today we have FOMC. I wouldn't know if not one person on the internet telling me about it. I wouldn't pay attention to that. Okay, now it's a little bit darker, but at least I don't have to look directly at the sun. I'm not used to the sun. So, I already have some idea for a trade today, and I think I'm gonna short Bitcoin. So, Fed press conference, but it's going to be quite risky. So as you can see, there was a cross on Bitcoin, moving averages cross. It's a bearish cross on 17th February, so it was quite a few days ago, a month ago. So it's not new, and since then there's a correction. There was one correction. If we take it from the top, it was a shallow one. If we take it like this, there's also a shallow one. So it's clearly trending downwards. And the time frame it should be traded is probably daily. Okay. So the retracement is now at 61.8 or at 50. Or at shallow 29.2. If we look at this on a 4-hour time frame. But you know, when I look at the Bitcoin like this and try to make sense of it, for the confirmation to short it, then structurally this correction is at the lowest point right now. It could go lower. I do have a hangover a little bit. I was drinking 3 beers, 3 Radlers, and I've been eating 4 ice yesterday evening while playing Don't Starve Together. Exciting. Well, it would be first time I would trade a Bitcoin, and it's more like a swing trade, to be honest, holding it over a weekend probably. And no, there's no clear like entry candle yet. I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't enter without having at least this kind of candle. No engulfing one, and there is no engulfing candle on 4-hour time frame, which is already a bad sign. There was engulfing candle on 1-hour time frame. So maybe, just maybe, I'd have to look at RSI. There is some strange thing with RSI. So we do have 3 tops on RSI. First 2 are different, but like similar on RSI, flat on RSI. So this is a divergence. So the price wants to get pushed here, but you know, I'm afraid. Okay, maybe not many people are paying attention to this, because you know this trade was mentioned by Vanessa, and like the post didn't had much attention. But still, I think like if there is FOMC, this is high impact news. I'm sure some people are hoping that Bitcoin is going to reverse this downtrend. But you know, I don't like this kind of corrections in Bitcoin, and I don't like to trade Bitcoin in general. I remember like years ago, I never had a successful day trade position on Bitcoin ever. Only position trading was successful. So for the day trading, it's better to stick to Forex. But from the lack of any other trades, I think this might be something. Let's look at this on as many time frames as possible. Okay, there is some sign of weakness on RSI. Yes, see that. Yes, okay. I think I'm gonna enter short. Okay, now I'm waking up. I think I'm gonna enter short, and I'm not gonna make this stop loss that big. No, I'm gonna make it only so big. Okay, that's a good thing. First thing. I shorted to 63,000. It could go even lower than that, but it could take too many hours or days. Let's look at this on a daily. No, on a daily there's no way it's going to fall. But it's just the best point to buy, because you know there was a candle, it was the bodies were leveled, and there was a wick, a long wick, which suggests there's a selling pressure. I have the levels there. What kind of levels are these? Okay, I'm gonna enter that on a very small position if I don't find anything more interesting than that. Nasdaq again gives another opportunity to enter short. On a daily. How does it look on a 4-hour? On a 4-hour, it looks like failed 61.8 retracement, which could be a clear sign that we might fall again. We might fall again. So if there's going to be some kind of engulfing candle to the downside, I'm gonna probably enter short on Nasdaq as well. But today is FOMC. You know what? Sometimes I think I should go and switch to MetaTrader and forget about TradingView. No, it gives you some features like which are absolutely basic ones. You have to pay for them. So, for example, list of your pairs. You have to pay for the list, which is a very low marketing trick to buy more. But it is how it is. They need money. US oil. On a daily. So look how perfectly it played out. Now, US oil is not going to fall down. Because of the fundamentals. They are very situation. The Trump says it's already under control. Everything is destroyed. Everything is under control. There is no threat. And you see the first impulse, the first moment is already gone. Now, if you want to do anything, then it would be to look at this bigger fib, right? Which was 61.8. And from now, there is a different kind of market. From now on, there is a different kind of market. Now, this is some important level, because it was the last moment when the market opened with a huge gap. And now the price is over there. So it filled the gap perfectly. Several times it traded in the range of that gap. I think it's too bold. So if anything, then a range trading over there in this range, and now would be the best time to enter long. But as you can see, there's no engulfing pattern. For example, let's look at the 50-minute. No engulfing even on 50-minute. Let's look at 5. Okay, some sort of engulfing candle on a 5-minute. A range trading rectangle. Well, I was thinking yesterday about increasing frequency on my trading. And in order to do that, I would have to trade a little bit more consolidating, ranging markets. And right now there's a perfect opportunity for that. But no, I'm not really into that. Instead, let's look at other markets. Current move. S&P 500. Very flat. Very flat top. It clearly doesn't want to grow. German 40. Far away from the top. Look, German 40 is somewhat similar to Nasdaq. Gold. No, not convincing to me. Structure is not convincing. It's very choppy structure. "15 minutes, 5 minutes. I feel kind of regretful. Like, not really. I'm not in haven't entered this trade. Silver. There's some kind of harmonic pattern on silver. And I mean by that, this. Which is interesting. Because I don't know how to trade harmonic patterns. In a situation like this, you have 61.8. No? Talking about this. No? The fractal nature of market is scary. So confusing. You don't know where is top and where is the bottom. Remember my line on Palladium? Yes, I do. And it seems to work perfectly. Seems like a price doesn't want to break that line, which means that silver might actually trade lower, and gold also might trade lower. But there are no good setups, forcing setups. So commodities and Bitcoin already behind us. Commodities and Bitcoin already behind us. For now, I think the safest setup seems to be on Bitcoin. As for now, but let's look at Forex. A magical Forex. It seems like you work for mafia when you say you trade Forex. When I was younger, I was thinking like that. That it's some kind of magical thing. But then I discovered that this is really about being fucked by the brokers and hoping it's going to make you rich quickly. But it never does. You only hear about those guys who are having huge profits and they are living from trading. The reality is harsher. Of course, you can make big money, but you lose also a lot of money. And the struggle is to keep it at break even at least, and be slightly in profit. But it's interesting that some guys, like from the top, like few percentage of them, are really making good money on this. But those are like complete nerds, which are completely driven, and they do everything to be better at this. I think that I'm gonna still short GBP USD if the opportunity comes. Because you see, the blue line is almost perfectly aligning with a trend line. 61.8 was disrespected, and I still think this market is going to trend down, although structurally you see that there is some struggle to keep the price higher. So in this range would be good to play it as a like range trading. So sell from a resistance and buy from a support kind of thing. big candles, huge candles. Okay. See that 29.2 GBP USD. Price is there, but over there it was a resistance, and here it is a support which is failing. The price was at 61.8, also failed. It's not going to be an easy trade. Let's look at the news. GBP JPY, balance of trade. Oh, it should be minus, but it's actually plus. Japan's trade balance has fluctuated in recent years, partially because of disruptions to production and other problems related to the coronavirus pandemic. In 2022, the country recorded persistent monthly trade deficits as imports surged more than exports. On one hand, the weak yen has helped to drive exports to record highs, but on the other, it had made the cost of imported products, especially food and energy commodities, very expensive. The biggest trade deficits were reported with Australia, China, and Middle East countries, while the biggest trade surpluses were recorded with the United States, Hong Kong, South Korea, and Singapore. I'm looking at MetaTrader right now. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Japan's trade balance index shows difference between exports and imports. The trade balance measures the difference in value between imported and exported goods during the reporting period. A positive value indicates a trade surplus, while a negative one hints at a trade deficit. A positive value indicates that more goods and services were exported than imported. Japan is not a country where crude oil can be taken, so most of the energy is dependent on oil-producing countries. There are also hydro, geothermal, wind, and nuclear power, but these types have a smaller share compared to the thermal power. Therefore, the country has to import crude oil in large quantities, which has a big influence on the balance of trade. Japan's trade balance went into red when oil prices rose sharply, but basically it's always in the black. This is because the export of Japan comprises of high value added industrial products, while imports tends to include a lot of energy and industrial raw materials and are significantly less likely to increase. The impact of the trade balance report on the Japanese yen is ambiguous and depends on many other economic indicators. Again, a little bit sun. Okay. Not a very clear setup, other than it is so close to 29.2, which is my favorite level, but the RSI is flat, and it's not an easy decision to make. Okay. It can be a good trade, potentially. If I look at this like that, that's okay, so potential short on GBP JPY. That seems like a counter trend trade. Counter trend trade. GBP NZD. Now, when I say that I'm annoyed with TradingView, then I probably should switch to MetaTrader instead, without second thoughts. It's like quitting the job. When you think about quitting a job, it's already too late to quit the job. Because you should have quit it like yesterday. What this market is doing. See, I was expecting God knows what. Instead, there is a struggle to reach new highs. Some like continuation, some kind of wedge. Just like over there. It might be so on a bigger scale. It's a 50 retracement. For 1 GBP NZD, we're gonna get more NZD. No, to me it looks like GBP NZD is going to Look, it bounced perfectly from 61.8, which means it could really reverse right now. If it was 50, then I wouldn't be so sure. So NZD is going to get stronger, like technically. Therefore, this should be considered a short. Should be considered a short and not a long. If anything, then it's going to be short. 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 Okay, so already two setups, potential setups. GBP CAD. Nothing appealing to me. Let's look on a smaller time frames. 5 minutes. No, and now we are talking. 5 minute. 5 minute look better. You can actually find some fib setups on a 5 minute. See that? 61.8. And it was only like few minutes ago. When was it? Tuesday. 24 hours before. 24 hours before Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. What is it? Friday, Sunday. Now again, nice setups on GBP CAD on 5 minutes. See? And not to not make mistakes, you could look at 1 hour. And no, I wouldn't be really sure, but looking at this on a 3 hour, on a 1 hour, on a 1 hour, you can already see like some kind of, okay, there is some kind of small fibs. You could actually go to the 5 minute and analyze them a little bit better. So perhaps that's the key. Perhaps we have found a golden grail or a holy grail. This is a holy grail of today's session. When there's nothing, you look at 1 hour and then 5 minutes. Let's try it. GBP CHF. Nothing. 1 hour and 5 minutes. And you see, already something. 61.8. Failed 61.8. But a good 61.8 if we look at this from the beginning. And yesterday evening, there was some big candles. going to 88.6. No. On a 1 hour, there is some currently a very nice round level, as you can see. But nothing. GBP IUD. The first time I used this kind of pitchfork, I mean. Downtrend, switching, chart. If there is nothing, then smaller time frame, smaller time frame. Smaller time frame. Now the point is that if you don't have anything on 1 hour, don't see anything on 1 hour, and there's very little, very low probability you're gonna find anything on 5 minutes. But ICG, for example, he really likes smaller time frames, which means that no, it depends if you really like to dive into details, because the 5 minutes is a different fractal on its own. You see, 88.6, so exhaustion, sign of exhaustion, and then price keeping a level at 61.8 in a kind of wedge, because you can just clearly perceive that as a kind of wedge, and then it traded, it exploded. So wedge on 5 minutes. With a fib confirmation on Monday, very early in the morning, at least in Germany. Or in Europe. Okay. You see, on 1 hour, you don't even see this as a good kind of setup, anything, because, but you see, like this is the problem. This is the issue, because why is there even a trade placed by me? Okay, so I was scanning this and I was seeing this big fib and a potential for the price to reverse. But you see the scale of it when we look at 5 minutes. It's so small. And now who has time to sit in front of the chart and scan it like that, and looking from a bigger picture, you you have some kind of fib. There is a reaction from 50, but this reaction is a fake reaction, as you can see, because there's still like level from before, from this initial place. Look, it is 50. So it is 50, and the price bounces from that 50, and it struggles to reach a higher high, but it does reach 61.8 of the bigger picture, and then it creates a kind of wedge, so it's undecided which direction it wants to go. And then finally we have a fib in a wedge, and then the price just still like it appears on the 5-minute that it does know what to do now, but on a 1 hour it's not. So I guess you have to look at smaller time frames. You also have to spend a good amount of time on 1 hour to be able to identify this kind of market. And you know, right now there is also some kind of harmonic pattern being printed. And it's probably going down. Yeah. You know, it's not a art to identify this kind of thing afterwards. Art is to identify it during. And have a bigger picture in mind all the time. So multi-time frame analysis, it's not about switching like from the time frame to time frame, but it's about having 3 monitors and just, you know, when there is a setup, you really have to look bigger time frame, middle time frame, and very small time frame. So it was from the beginning like that. And I knew it, but it's also very like demanding. You really have to focus. Okay, we just discovered or rediscovered something very important. USD CAD. Low. Okay. No, the price channel is not the cleanest thing to have. But the price is certainly breaking. No, it's not breaking. It has different structure than previously on USD CAD. And this structure would, it forces me to think that market really wants to shift. The market really wants to shift, but the bigger picture is that this is a good place and a good fib to consider long. In this case, it's going to be short. Let's look on a 5 minute. Structure really wants to support the idea of a long, I mean a short. Or is it too late? Is it already too late? For our potential setup. But there's no engulfing candle. And you know, the first steam, like the best entry would be there. Because you know, once, twice, second fib, and then bounce. But the structure looks bearish to me. Not on a 4 hour though. It's still a good place to consider. But you know, it lost the initial steam over there. It holds a line. It holds a 61.8. I guess, you know, it's worth to keep an eye on. Yeah. Now looking at this from when it's swapped, when it's reversed, it's so different. It's so different. Oh my God. It's a different kind of market. My brain doesn't see the same things when it's reversed. Too confusing to me. And it takes too much time as well. CHF JPY. Remember this setup? $61.8. High pressure, high buying pressure, but the pressure came from pressure is also a sign of failing 61.8, which means potential weakness and consolidation. CHF-JPY. CAD JPY. Look, it broke a line and it followed, continued to fall. Nothing really exciting to this market. NZD USD. Okay. NZD USD. It's not USD CAD, right? But it has some similarities. Okay. And the USD did something there. 61.8. But a 50, not 61.8. bounce from bounce from 61.8. You know, I think it's going to reverse from 61.8. But the price is not in a good place. It would be in a good place to long from there. New Zealand dollar, NZD. NZD is New Zealand, yes. And the US dollar, where is the US dollar index? The the US dollar is going to continue to do so. NZD USD not currently in a good position. USD CAD is potentially in a good position. USD JPY. You see what I was trying to do there? It would be a win I entered. So in this case, calling a top was on point. 61.8. But right now it's too late. USD CHF. Swiss franc. AUD USD. Consolidation. Well, do you pay attention? The market is trending downwards and then suddenly it stops and then it gives you a fib setup in opposite direction. Which is visible on 5 minute. Same here. This would be probably visible on 1 minute. It's very easy to fall into digression and forget about why you were there initially. But you can, okay, I just wanted to study the structure on 5 minutes and to see how it reacts to a certain levels. Strong reaction to 50. And unusual reaction to 61.8. This is also something I could see from 4-hour perspective. Euro. The fib is something amazing. It comes before moving average. See? Like change of structure. But nothing yet. Euro JPY. Weird stuff. No, I just want to eat ice and sweets right now. That's the thing when you eat unhealthy things, then your body literally craves that. And I really want to eat that because it gives me energy in a way. There's some early reversal sign, like similar to what was there before. You see that this, but right now this. It wasn't a perfect fib. But it is. Is it giving a second option, second opportunity for a short? Or am I just tripping? Tripping. I think it's bias. It's having a bias. Now, to do this kind of stuff, is to have a bias and to search for confirmation, like forcefully search for confirmation that this is going to work out. On the 5 minute, okay, let's leave it, but I don't like it. Eurocard. Okay, some action. Nothing very convincing. Now trades like this are dangerous because you might fall a victim of an impression that there's high probability the trend is going to continue towards that fib. No? But it never has to be the case. One is certain. You can count the waves. It reversed over there, you see that? And now it has turned there. $50. No, it's nothing. It's not a secret what I'm doing here. And it's not stupid to look at this on a higher time frames. Because then you know what type of market are you dealing with. You know what to expect. And when you have a market like this, it means you cannot expect anything. Because it's ranging. You really cannot grasp any idea of what the market wants to do. Even on 5 minutes. And to me, this fib is too shallow. No, this first one was okay, but still, it wasn't working immediately. That one was a 50. Clear engulfing candle. But it was 7:20 Tuesday. Life is about not doing things, not engaging, and sometimes engaging. And trading is about this, but life, I'm not really sure what is life about. But once you like, you cannot eat sweets every day. But I would love to eat sweets every day. But I am sure it would harm me like hell. But perhaps this is only my stubbornness to like not be fat. What do I need a good functional body for? Am I climbing Mount Everest? No. Am I planning to climb Mount Everest in the like next 2 or 5 years? Can be that sure, perhaps in 5 years. But like in the next 2 years, I'm not planning to. Is it a struggle for me? I'm sorry for this psychological insights, but is it a struggle for me to maintain a healthy, functional body? Or would I be more happy if I was eating daily like 5 ice cream and drinking like at least one radler a day? I don't think I would be much happier. What is the drug of your choice? Everyone has a drug of their choice. Eurocat. EuroCHF. Daily. On a daily, the bottom is the limit, or hell is the limit. The sky is the limit. What is going on with this chart? On a daily. This market is trending in this direction. And now it's in a place where it would be expected for it to bounce due to the time and space. But this is not a good market to look at. You see, it's on a 5 minute. There is a clear tendency for the market to fall down. And to be able to be able to determine if this is a right place to go up would be like considering the 61.8 fib and now looking for any signs of a reversal, but the structure doesn't want to keep this reversal, as you can see. It bounced from a tendance and we went lower. So this is not a good structure to consider a continuation of the trend. Which is downwards. At least not yet. Euro JPY. Daily. 50. On a daily, it keeps the 50 level. On a 4-hour, price bounced from 61.8, and this 61.8 wasn't perfect. It was like above. Too many stuff. Too many things. And on a bigger picture, you can see there is some kind of reversal pattern going on, which is like some call it head and shoulders, but I call it simply a flipped fib, just for the sake of today's video. So strong reaction from 61.8, and right now the previous levels are in play, and it doesn't mean there was a very strong trend, but it is broken right now. It is broken. But there's not a good structure. When it was broken over there. See? But still the price struggled to keep in line with 61.8. No, not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. Not a good thing at all. And you see how small it is that we are looking at. But we are not making decision out of 5 minutes. We are just simply like testing, diving deeper into the structure to see if there is like some I'm missing the word. Let me check the chat real quick. Euro GBP, Euro NZD, daily. Okay, 4 hour. Nice. Although this consolidation is nothing that I really like to see. Like some kind of head and shoulders, I would say. Over there. Tuesday. It was yesterday. See. But right now, okay, this is where I was looking at. But right now, what is going on right now? Price failed to make a higher high. It bounced, created a fib. Which was 61.8. I'm sorry. And since then, price is in a consolidation. And perhaps if we see something like this, and then again this, no, it would be a head and shoulders. It could be a good confirmation to enter long, but we don't have it. We don't have it yet. No, it makes more sense to me, like looking at the reversals like this, because head and shoulders would be a reversal pattern, or some would say like double top or triple top. Depends. Like sometimes it's clear to see, to look at it and see a head and shoulders. But you know what? This is when the things gets tricky, because I'm sitting on the computer already since before 7 o'clock in the morning. And if you are working, then where the hell do you take or get the time to do this, to analyze the markets like this, like so many pairs? So this is a blessing for me that I can do that. What happened? Nothing. And to learn a little bit about the markets. And sometimes it's good to stick to a mentor, but sometimes you have to go your own way, because the mentors tend to like oversimplify stuff, and you don't really know what's happening behind the scene. How much work is he putting into that? Like how many time frames does he really analyze? Or like perhaps, some guys like spend years, like 7, 10, 15 years looking at the charts. You don't know what he was doing like 2 years before or 6 years before. Perhaps that's all very important to you. Like he's skipping some parts right now because they became like intuitive for him. But in your case, perhaps you have to dive into smaller time frames. Perhaps you have to see the market on the smaller time frames, on the middle time frames, and on the bigger time frames. So perhaps 1 hour is not enough. Perhaps you have to look at 5 minutes, but still not scalp, but have a day trading approach. And I don't like to make decisions based on too little factors. I really have to have a lot of information because this is how I'm wired and I cannot change it. But it's complicated, because you cannot simply like sit in front of a computer, go to work like for 10 hours or 12 hours, and then expect that you're gonna have quality trades, because it's too demanding. And I know it's not sexy to say that, but I'm not building any group. I'm not not saying that building a group is a bad thing, because it's a good thing, and I really enjoy like all the groups that I'm in. But I noticed that I really need like the trading is very difficult. It's psychology. It's 80% psychology, or however, whatever they say. So in hindsight, I really have to admit that's true, because trading is long term. Even if you trade scalping, it's a long term. Because like, how do you feel today? Do you feel like you want to sit in front of computer today? You have to feel like you will. You have to feel like in a week you are going to log in to your charts and analyze them, and week after week, or like few days after few days, constantly. And without doing that, you're gonna fail as a trader. And I did that so many times. No, you really have to go back and look at the charts by yourself and find your own ways. You can copy some traders, but you really have to find your own way. And no, I'm recording this just for me. And I'm not even recording this. This is live stream, and this is how it should go. I think like every trader should do a live stream, because this is a kind of journaling technique. And you really have to only think about yourself. I don't like this Euro UD. How it's trading. AUD You see that? break of structure. And then nice fib. Not that nice, but it worked. And then another fib as a confirmation. And of course, what counts is the right place and the right time. So you have a setup from a bigger time frame, and then you have to really look on 5 minutes at it. And then you can have some clarity whether you enter or not. Only then. But look at 1 hour. Look at 1 hour. Do you have some clarity to enter over there? Okay, engulfing candle. The magic word, engulfing candle. Okay, this one was engulfing. See? This one was engulfing. So this one was already a good sign to enter. But this one engulfing candle does look like tricky on the 5 minute, you know? Okay, it's all you have also engulfing on the 5 minute, but the price is still down. And what would make me re-enter this trade? Like seeing a little bit more structure on 5 minute, that the price actually stopped on a fib, and there is some like hope of a reversal. But you see, this was way too low compared to a previous structure, and only a few moments later there was like a sign, and this candle was a good entry. So you would have to stay awake in the middle of the night to enter this trade, and it would still not give you a easy night of sleep, because you know the price would retrace back. So the key is a good setup on a 1 hour or even 4 hour time frame. You know, see? And then looking for a confirmations just in this damn zone. See? Just in this damn zone, looking for a confirmation. Sorry for the words. And that's why you have a 5 minute for. That's why I have 5 minute for. That's why I have 5 minutes for. And don't listen people who say, please do not look at 5 minutes, because you know you're gonna just confuse yourself. If you have a bigger picture and then you use 5 minutes to your advantage, it's going to help you. But of course, if you start looking on a 5 minute on a chart, then it's not going to help you. It's going to confuse you, because you know, oh my god, there are some fibs over there. You see, there are some fibs. Like, so what? So what? You know, I was this kind of trader. I was looking at 1 hour, and I was, you know, I was like this. Okay, damn, there's a fib. Let's go long. There's a fib, you see? Let's go long. This was me. No. There is a purpose. You have a history on those charts, so you really have to look at this, and you have to use this those bigger time frames. It's still not guaranteed that you're gonna be a good trader. I'm not a successful, I'm not a profitable trader yet. It's just annoying as hell. Right, let's go. AD count. Think about entering a position you'd have to have a good setup and a retracement. That's a perfect example of that. See? This. This was the place that you would focus on entering over there, But of course, you could want to just be this crazy trader and always hope for the continuation of a trend. But I'm not like this. I really don't like this, and I feel bad when I try this. And another combination, like this is the first thing, yes? First thing is to be a trader who thinks the trend is going to continue forever. Second mistake is to being a trader that thinks that this is I'm always going to find a top and a bottom. So I am able to find it every time. So it never worked for me. Never worked for me. And the third is that anytime I see Fibonacci retracement 61.8, it means we go to the moon. And this is not that simple, because you really have to pay attention to what the price is doing around that level. You see, in this case, AUD CAD, it retraced a little bit below 50, but haven't touched 61.8, and then it touched 29.2, and then retraced back to 61.8. So it's really not simple. We really have to put a lot of attention to that. And the market really, the computers that are running the market, they have all the data. You cannot outsmart them. They have all the data. You really have to learn how the market is ticking, and really have to have a lot of patience. Trading is not for impatient people. No, this would be tricky. You know why? Because the market haven't gave me any sign that it wants to reverse, But of course, on a bigger frame, you have a fib. So this would be logical, it's going to reverse, but it always have to give you a sign that it's going to reverse. And this reversal would be a head and shoulders, or some sort of it. And as you can see, you have it there. So market tried to reach lower again, reaching just a little bit lower than previously. And then you have a sequence of Fibonacci retracements in the opposite direction, pointing towards a kind of shift in the market. And you also see like this reversed fibs over there, you see? So the market is trying to reach lower, but the algorithm is already planning to climb higher. And to track a reversal point of a price, It's not that easy. It's easiest when you have a bigger Fibonacci retracement like this, but let's focus on this place. Like how to trace a retracement in such places. So the price is trending upwards, and suddenly you have like you see the price struggles to break higher. You think, okay, this is consolidation. I have to avoid trading, which is right. And then you see what you have to look for signs. They're not always there. But this is too complicated. But this is just a grasp how to do it, you know? And I cannot clearly see other than, you know, reading the market structure. Previous high and now current high is not that higher compared to the previous one. And you scan how the market is ticking. Is it giving you a normal fibs, or is it giving you some distorted fibs? Right now we have here distorted fib, so it reaches only 50. It's a bad sign because it bounced from 50. It gave this like kind of reversal, but it reversed from 29.2. It's a sign of weakness in general. No? And then you see distorted 61.8. Distorted 61.8. And what happens? Market goes in the direction higher, but you still have to have like the bigger picture in mind. We do not reach significantly higher levels. And so the market starts to slowly break, but there's not a clear sign of reversal to me. No, other than no, it wouldn't be clear. It wouldn't be that clear. Not to me. No. I would probably avoid trading this. Okay. That's it. Okay, we can also try to find some setups on silver gold using 5 minutes, and also on Nasdaq, because it's really exciting to see. We can also study Bitcoin, but we have done it, haven't we, at the beginning of this live stream. You see, it pays off. Yeah. Now on the 5 minute, it seems like the price has reversed. See that? This was the reversal point. Tuesday, late in the night, right? No, it's confusing to me, you know? Studying Bitcoin is confusing because I do have a bias. I do have a bias. I want the Bitcoin always to go up. And I cannot simply, you know, take it out of my head. Okay, but we can study each point when it does reverses, what it shows. Not much. There is still no guarantee it's going to really, you know, fall down as we would like it to fall. What's it? What is it? What am I even looking at? Is it Bitcoin? Low, okay. This is reverse price of Bitcoin. Let's look at this completely objectively. Completely objectively. And completely objectively, on a 1 hour, we have a uptrend. Uptrend. Oh, no, it's subjectively because we are already diving in. Subjectively, we have a uptrend. On the 1 hour, but we are currently in a correction. Like, look, we are in a correction in a downtrend on a bigger scale. But on 1 hour time frame, we are in an uptrend and also currently in a correction in the uptrend. This was just for measuring RSI. Currently, this is what we have. It's a correction. Which means we're gonna have to look at this like that. it does want to continue. This is a uptrend. I mean, this is going this direction. It does want to continue. And it's going to continue until it bursts in some other direction. But is it going to burst lower? I think that's quite high possibility. Strange. I don't know. I really don't know. Be right back. I'm hungry. You know, it's not to be traded on a 1 hour time frame. It's not to be traded like that. Because you literally can't find anything. I'm not talking to you. No, it's to be traded on on 4 hour or even daily. But it's always, it always pays to spend a little time and analyze stuff. Let's look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq is really rewarding when it's about 5 minutes. It gives you more data, so you see there's a kind of zigzag structure, which is sign of indifference, indecision. What if this already, what if it's already it? 61.8 reached. Okay, we are in a downtrend. We are in a downtrend, but this downtrend is very choppy. It's very choppy structure. And within the downtrend, we can see some resistance trend line. Also, some support trend line forming, and within that there are some fibs. Price did not react to 29.2. Reversal pattern, kind of head and shoulders, confirmation of a fib. See, it was all Tuesday. Every little pair did the same as Nasdaq did. And now we are again in an unknown territory. Until FOMC, probably, because it's going to move markets. It's not going to be so unclear anymore. Now, this trend line is important because when the price is close to that, let's study what happens when price is close to that trend line. Now, this would be unclear to me. It will still suggest that we might go higher, although it wasn't clean in the term of like fib retracement. It was 88.6. And then you have some kind of that's some pitchfork to me. But there's no clear structure of a reversal. Only over there, you know, you see the fib. $61.8. But it's still very tricky, you know. I think that the Nasdaq should be looked at even only 1 minute, if that's possible. Days, hours, minutes. Yeah, it's possible. Okay. But we don't have a trend line, don't we? No, it doesn't bring me much to look at the Nasdaq on a 1 minute, to be quite honest. Let's get rid of 1 minute. 5 minutes is enough. It's more than enough. So you see a lot of patience, and then a fib setup, but waiting for a confirmation candle. It would be 6 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday. It would be more like catching a reversal. See? Catching a reversal. Over there, let's study this place. Is it this? Yeah, it is. Over there, we are below 61.8. And what happens? Candle size flow ratio shifts, and we have sort of fib in the opposite direction. But the price is not respecting 61.8 and 50 as much in general, so it wasn't a very clean place to expect a reversal. Okay, let's study US oil a little bit. You see? Remember what I said at the beginning of this video? That Wednesday, it was Wednesday, and we were recording at 6:50, so 7, and we had this engulfing candle, and look what happened. Price still went lower, but since then continues to reach new highs, but we have no reference. I had no reference to that, so I didn't want to enter. Let's look at gold. Without a bias, without a precondition. So gold already showed a sign of weakness over there, right? Right. Everyone agrees, everyone agrees. Do I agree? I think I do. Right now, there's a trending market downwards. So let's look at this like that. And let's go to the 5-minute. What happened? No, similar stuff. Some sort of reversal structure, but it wasn't perfect, as you can see. But you could see a hand shoulders over there. And what counts is what happens with the price action afterwards. It is ranging. Since then, it's arranging. No. Five-minute, if we really look brightly on a 5-minute, it's almost like we are looking at, like, 8 days, 7 days, 7 days on a 5-minute. This is amazing. Like this is hourly perspective. And I wanted to short gold, but no. Okay. So let's wrap the things up. Bitcoin potential short. US tech potential short or nothing. Gold, nothing. GBP USD, is there any reason to look at GBP USD right now? Oh yes, it is. It's 61.8 engulfing candle. Could be that we gonna short GBP USD again on a 4-hour, 2-hour, only 1 hour. This is a 1-hour setup. Yeah, I think GBP USD looks good for a potential short, but it's not very, I'm not very convinced. But okay. This might be a good short. GJ. GJ looks more decided to me. GBP NZD. No. USD CHF, USD CAD. Now this is what I'm talking about. It's confusing. When you dive on 5 minutes, then you get too many details. But most of all, you really have to be convinced about the setup on the time frames. I think I need a short break. Okay. I'm going in GBP USD, Euro JPY, Euro NZD, and Bitcoin perhaps. And Bitcoin. One, two, three, four. 4 trades. But I'm not sure about Bitcoin, but I'm going GBP USD, Euro JPY, Euro NZD. GBP USD short, Euro JPY short, Euro NZD long. Okay. Thank you for watching. See you.